Thank you so much for joining the Dr. Whisperer podcast show. I am your host, Sharon Feckety, and you are here to listen to others talk about the business of medicine. Don't forget to subscribe, share it with somebody else that is in the business of medicine so we can all learn together. Thank you for being here and enjoy the show. This is how I like to start a show, just whatever feels right, and it felt right to do. So, welcome back to the Dr. Whisperer Show. Welcome to the Dr. Whisperer Show. I'm just happy that you're here today because you're in for a treat. We have a very fun and bubbly human being that we are interviewing who also happens to be like a dentist and is designing her own life. She's doing Wi-Fi in her car. She's zooming, she's going to New York, she's shopping, she likes Sex in the City. She's all the things. Welcome to the show, Dr. Jill Wade.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was so funny. Just a few minutes ago, we realized we were in New York City just this past weekend at exactly the same time. How did we not run into each other?
And love the fact that I don't know how you were taught in business, but I was taught in my 20s that you never hang out with the people that you work with. And I was with my digital media specialist, and you were with your hygienist,
who has been with me for 21 years.
You got me beat. It's only been 5 for us, but like trips to New York City, we've done 2 in 6 months already.
Well, there's a reason why she's been with me for 21 years. We both love what we do. Mm-hmm. We both have passion for dentistry, passion for our patients. And because of that, you kind of get connected really well with that. And it's just so fun to get out of the office every once in a while and just enjoy each other as like peers and human beings. And that, we're more than just employee-employer relationship at that point.
So good. I mean, really and truly, I couldn't agree with you more. I can't believe what they tried to drill down my throat, get it, down my throat about make sure that you don't have personal relationships and all those silly things that were told to us. But when you are a happy, joyous, and free human, you realize that you can design your life and you can design your business. So kudos to you, those. I'm so happy to have you here. I want to tell everybody just a little bit about you before we get into the nitty gritty. Dr. Jill Wade has been practicing dentistry for over 25 years. So this isn't new. No.
Oh, no.
And you specialize.
I still enjoy it just as much as I did when I first got started. So
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important to mention.
It's very important to mention. If you are not, I heard from somebody yesterday that she did not like what she did for a living, and I almost cried.
It is sad. And there's a lot of people out there.
Too many. But here's the thing in your bio that really I love the most. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Jill has always believed that there should be more to dentistry than the traditional drill 'em, fill 'em, and bill 'em approach. So in New York, at New York Medical, we used to say, treat 'em and street 'em. Mm-hmm. And I have been trying to get away from that motto since the get in healthcare. So I'm very excited to hear more about you and why you do what you do and how you have designed your business to be an extension of your life.
Absolutely. To me, I just feel very blessed that I found dentistry. It was the right match for me. Mm-hmm. Even back in junior high and high school, I knew I was going to medicine, but I thought I was going to medicine and not dentistry. Mm-hmm. So just that ability to kind of go to work and be able to care for people, be a healer, but also be able to, to me, it's artistic as well. And so to be able to kind of go in there and do something that I love and enjoy from an artistic standpoint and be a healer has just been a wonderful balance for me. And I think that's probably what some people are lacking. They may like one part of their job, but not another part of their job. And so therefore, in total, they don't enjoy it as much. I've been able to also enjoy the business side of the business of dentistry, because I always kind of saw it a little bit as a game. And kind of took that game kind of approach, like wasn't just stuck in the only way to do the business of the business was, what everybody else was doing at the time. And so at different times, I'm able to kind of bounce, see what the economy is doing, see what our particular area was going through, and then not be afraid to just kind of design something a little different. We had a period of time where a lot of people had a bust in kind of the IT world, and we had tons of people who worked in the IT world. Well, at that moment in time, it wasn't the time to go after cosmetic dentistry.
Right.
They didn't have that kind of extra money. So that's when we bounced at that time and really went into what we call dental wellness, which is and was at that time a little bit of ahead of its game as far as kind of like functional medicine. So we were doing functional dentistry in the sense that we were working side by side with the physicians trying to get our patients healthier. And that is stuck now for a good 15 years in my practice, being a super, super solid, fundamental, foundational growth for our practice. Now, people who have money, even though we may be losing some money in the stock market and everybody kind of understands their pocketbooks might be hurting a little bit, but people are also not wanting to put a lot of more money into things like that. So now they're turning their heads and saying, hey, I want to invest in myself. I want to invest in my new smile. And so we're able to bounce now back into cosmetics as well. So, it's just, you have to be willing, in my opinion, to kind of do whatever the business needs you to be and to kind of be that chameleon and kind of play with that a little bit. And maybe that's a little bit harder in medicine. You can tell me that, but I still believe that we all have that ability to kind of direct the flow of where our business is going.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think it's so great. I mean, I just interviewed one of our sponsors for the show, Doc to Doc, who is like a group of anesthesiologists that have really come together to help other doctors get personal loans. And, they love practicing medicine, but they also have found that the entrepreneurial side and the business side has really kind of ignited them. And they've been able to pull all of their resources together to do something that benefits more than just the patient coming in. Right?
Yes.
Jill is feeling this. If you're just I
love it.
You're just listening and you're not watching, Jill is like, yes, I understand what that's like. Yes. So you have found a better way, and you have this great passion, and you're involved with all these associations. Now you found a company called Relevance Health.
Yes.
And Relevance Total Health. Now, are these two separate companies? Tell me more.
It's basically the same company.
Okay.
We all kind of have different little LLCs and different entities under different entities as we separate things out. But this is a concept, and you may not have ever heard of these two people, but we have a group called Bell Doneen, Dr. Amy Doneen and Dr. Brad Bell, probably about 10 years ago, I guess, is when I first heard about them, maybe even more than that. And they are this amazing scientific group of professionals that bring dentistry and medicine together and train us in the same room side by side. And our number one goal is to reduce heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. That's it, by decreasing inflammation. And science over and over and over proves again that dentistry is the missing link for a lot of the medical professionals to get the results out of their patients that they're really looking for. Because what they don't realize is they have undiagnosed dental infections and undiagnosed periodontal disease. And if those two things, which can be very quickly taken care of and treated within 6 to 8 weeks, they're seeing all of their labs from their inflammatory markers, like advanced inflammatory markers, decrease significantly. Blood pressures go down significantly just with that treatment. And I don't know when it all happened, but, you know, a long time ago, I think medicine and dentistry were much closer together. And then all of a sudden they got really separated. And I think the philosophy was, okay, we're all different parts and pieces. You deal with your part and piece. I'll deal with my eyes. You deal with your teeth. I'll deal with your heart. I'll take care of your, you know, kidneys. And we were all of a sudden became this body in all different parts and pieces. Well, you know, as well as I do now, we're all very aware that that's not how it works.
No.
We are one body. Everything influences everything else. And so the more we begin to treat patients and side by side co-manage them, we get such better results for the patients. They're so much happier and healthier. And it, you know, I'm not saying I am a believer for medication when needed, but I also believe we're getting way over medicated, and we need to continue to pull back the shield and the layers of the onion and start to keep looking for the root cause of what the problems are, not just slapping the Band-Aids on with medicines. And this is really kind of that philosophy, is really looking for the root causes and taking care of the root causes of things.
I love this.
Yeah,
Love
it's
it.
fantastic.
Yeah. So I have been working in my 10-year business outside of running medical practices, specifically with integrative medicine practices. So I've only worked with one dentist, and him and I would introduce him to all of my, you know, integrative medicine doctors and functional medicine, because the same belief, like, we're all very unique individuals, but all of this is working together, you know? And when we would get to have these conversations with the cardiologist or with the primary care docs about how, you know, really there's so much. If we could just even touch about the stress that it causes a human being, me being one of them, when you don't love your smile, and how that affects your mental health, because that was me. As a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, I'm very open about this, Jill. I wrote a book about it. I'm 29 years sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I knew that a piece of all of the things that I had to work out in my recovery was like, I was happy from the inside, and I wanted people to see it from the out. I wanted to smile like all over the place. And it was a huge piece of my self-esteem. And that self-esteem is so deeply attached to our mouth.
So much.
So much, Jill.
So much. Oh, you are just speaking my language. Like,
right?
I want to heart you.
I want to heart you too.
It's so true. And I use kind of like my signature, if I'm just being real with people, my signature at the end of anything I'm writing to them is keep smiling from the inside out. Because I can make their smile beautiful.
Yeah.
But I can make and enhance the beauty that's already inside of them when I actually also help them feel better.
Yes.
When we work together with their doctors to make them feel better, then their smile, although good, all of a sudden looks radiating. You know, it's like their faces just jump off of Zoom or out into a meeting or at a interview. And it's just been part of our whole culture in our practice since probably about 2003, was to not only enhance their smiles, but enhance their life and their outlook on life. Yeah. And that was a pretty big, bold move back there, back then. But it's crazy. Like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like, when we made that our mission and our goal back then, it's still the same thing today. Because it's that important. We make such a huge difference in people's lives. And now we're saving lives too, as we do the Bell-Donine method and really know how to stop this very intense form of inflammation that can be causative of some events.
Totally. I mean, I am just so grateful for dentists like yourself and our dentist, Dr. Amir Dowd from Feather Sound Smiles, who redid my whole father's mouth. And I mean, and he has heart disease. So I know it was a really, even though today, you know, sometimes I don't think everybody realizes the connection of all of that it's working together, you know? So I want to feel like I could talk to you all day, but I want to talk, you've co-founded so many things, Jill. I mean, my God, how are we having a life outside of and watching Sex in the City and going to Manhattan and doing all these wonderful things, which I'm so excited about. You co-founded a progressive practice. So tell us what that is.
So along the way, I have been a single mom for 10 years. And let's just say that had its own financial fun for several years. And I spent much of that time trying to figure out how to just bring in another income into our family, basically as one person, right? So that was kind of my thought process. How am I going to bring in another income as if I was a 2-parent income family? I spent tireless hours. I won't lie. Like I worked my ass off. I was working all the time. I was trying to build another business, although I had passion and love for it. I mean, I was literally working and building 2 multi-million-dollar practices at the same time. One, you know, with the medical facility and one with the dental facility. And I put in a lot of money and I was working so hard. And I just was like, there has to be an easier way. Like there has to be an easier way, right?
Yeah. Every doctor knows that their traditional insurance only goes so far. Dare I say malpractice? These are real risks that keep you up at night. Real risks, like you have to consider them. So SRA 831B admin helps businesses fund their own PPP plans. Did you hear that? Is that making sense? So SRA 831B admin helps you mitigate risk and lower your tax liability by putting money into a vehicle that's tax advantaged. You need that. You know, dentists that were deemed non-essential, remember that in the pandemic? The ones that had these 831 plans, they were able to file a business interruption claim and use their tax advantage dollars. So what are you waiting for? Check out SRA 831B admin. You won't regret it. This podcast is sponsored by Doc2Doc, the personal lending platform designed for doctors by doctors. Doc2Doc believes that traditional lenders overestimate the risk of lending money to doctors, focusing too much on challenges of their financial past and giving them insufficient credit for the promise of their financial future. Yeah, we love what Doc2Doc is doing within our community. That is for sure. And we encourage you to visit their website at doc2doclending.com. Learn more about them today.
Well, this little thing called the pandemic happened. And
that panorama, that hit you too in Texas?
It did, surprisingly enough. And all of a sudden, I had 3 months that I wasn't allowed to even go back into my practice. And I was like, what have I done? I worked all these years. How did I let this happen to me? Like, it was very eye-opening. But instead of just sitting there, well, maybe for a week, I sat there and kind of felt sorry for myself.
Oh, yes. Marathons on Netflix. Yeah.
Let's more alcoholic beverages than I should have that week. But then I finally kind of shook myself out of it. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to let this happen to me again. Never, ever, ever. So what am I going to do? I had been smart previously and diversified into some commercial real estate, but I had quite a bit of time on my hands. And so I dove into checking out all kinds of financial items, solutions, debt reduction solutions, tax reduction solutions. How in the world could we really do what we do, but save more of what we're already doing, right? Where you didn't have to work harder. So I came up with all these amazing things that nobody told me about. And I had a lot of good financial advisors and people telling me, max out your 401k plan every year and do this and this. And that was good advice, but not great advice for who I was and what I was wanting to do.
Sure.
And so, I just kind of uncovered some amazing things and some amazing outside of the box ways of thinking about investing. And believe it or not, I kind of believe in myself more than anybody else, any other banking institute or anything. And so, just being able to put all of that in front of me and see it as a whole total opportunity, I realized there was a business that needed to be here for those of us who are professionals so that we could at least get some information from somebody we trusted that didn't really have any ulterior motive to sell us a stock or to make money on us, if that makes sense. And so that's where the idea of progressive finance came from. And that's what we do. We do believe in infinite banking, and I won't go into bore you guys with that, but it definitely is a way to make your money work for you and for it to be liquid and for you to be able to kind of get some relief when we have those cash flows up and down.
Yeah.
Because those are very stressful.
Yes.
We all have it if we're entrepreneurs. And so it's definitely just a way of keeping our stress and our life in a way that we can design it and be happy and not have those ups and downs, which is really what I think all of us want.
Truly.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm like, can I raise my hand to all of that? Yes.
Yeah, you can. And the cool thing is it's just, no one answer, just like you said a little while, no one answer fits everyone. And that's totally fine too, because we all have we're at different ages, we're at different places in our life. We want different things out of our life. Some of us have a little more time to play with than others. So it's just really kind of like dentistry in general, creating a comprehensive plan that's unique for you.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be cookie cutter.
Right. I love it.
What has to feel right for you. So that's what we've done. And then also in the midst of doing that, we realized for female physicians and dentists, there's really nobody out there really talking to us about these opportunities and about the business of the businesses that we're in so that we can become educated and make better decisions for ourselves. And so we are launching the boardroom here pretty soon, which is actually for females in particular who want to sit around and be able to support each other and listen and have creative ideas for our businesses and for our financing. So we're really
love it. What is it called?
We're going to launch it very soon, called the boardroom.
I'm writing that one.
This is exciting. I know.
It is exciting. I was just talking to my, I work in a collaborative, building workspace. So it's a certified wellness building. And the partner and COO, Janelle Branch, is a friend of mine. She's texting me right now. And we were talking, I told her, I called her yesterday to say, I just want to talk to a woman in business.
Yes.
That understands what I, as the owner, am going through.
Yes.
I adore, Alyssa that works for me. I adore women in business that are just starting. I'm 10 years in, and the pandemic and the evolving and switching things up and the loneliness that can come with being an entrepreneur and it being so different for us being women as business owners. I think that more of the boardroom, with women in mind is very, very important. I've, of course, a true advocate for women, love to connect them, love to build them up, love to invite them to the table, make the table, whatever the hell is happening.
Right.
But we need more of it, but we also need a lot of help in the financial world. How do we? So when that pandemic happens again, it might not be dressed up in a mask this time. Who knows what it'll be dressed up as? How are we going to be safe and prepared. So because I know you never wanted to feel like that again.
I will never feel like that again. I mean, that's how determined I was. I was like, never again. Not all, an old saying we have here in Texas is like, don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. Yeah. And when you own your own business, a lot of times that's your one egg. Yes. That's your one golden egg. And my biggest thing is we have to think past that. And for me, for a very long time, my business was a lifestyle business. I went to work and I made the kind of money that I did, or I pushed it as much as I wanted to in order to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And then at a certain point, I realized, hey, I want something different. I now need to think of my business as an investment. And then I need to use it wisely.
Yes.
And there was the switch.
Yeah. Wonderful. I am so excited that you're doing all of this. I've written down all the people I want to introduce you to.
It's fantastic. Let's do it.
Yeah, because I do think
a little
right.
coffee.
I just wish.
Call.
Yeah, we'll do coffee Zooms for sure. I wish that, she was traveling to Florida. She didn't know I was here in Tampa Bay.
That's come okay. Back.
That's okay. I really think that we all need each other. We need each other, especially as women, sorry, dudes, but it's a different kind of vibe. We're going to see the Barbie movie. We're watching Sex in the City. We don't want to wear heels anymore. Sorry, newsflash. We do if we get on stage.
Yep.
But other than that, we're happy with our sneakers and our dresses now. It's a cute little vibe we got going on. So things are different. I'm interested to know, especially, because my dentist, I felt a special kind of sad during the pandemic about what they were going through. And now another one of my sponsors is SRA 831 that provides like the tax deferral. It's like the PPE that we never want to have to be involved in again. We have to be smarter with our money. Right. What pulled you through? What was it that pulled you through, Jill?
Well, pretty much just a mentality of resiliency. Like, pull your big girl panties up and let's go. Like, we don't have time to try to figure out why it all happened. We just have to come back. And for me, because we were already so focused on wellness before the pandemic, and we had educated our patients to the benefits of wellness and being preventive in nature rather than reactive in nature, that as soon as we opened up the doors, our patients knew how important it was to get right back in to see us and to get things started again. Yeah. So from the day one that we were able to open our doors, our patients flocked back in again because they knew. So it's a lot about educating them so that they have the value and the understanding of why things are so important. If not, then, maybe it took them a year and a half to get things back on track from their pandemic episode, whatever that might have looked like, right? But for our business, we almost immediately came back and were just as strong, if not stronger, because we had such a good, solid foundation.
So can you give the listeners or the viewers just a little tidbit into, I ask this because I almost take it for granted that I know so much about the functional and the integrative medicine world. And I don't think everybody thinks about dentistry when they think about this world. So I'd really love for you to give us some insight to that.
Sure. Well, there is definitely scientific, information out there all over the place of the true connection between periodontal disease and heart disease. And it's really bacterial in nature. That's what it is. There are certain high-risk pathogens or bacteria that are specifically linked to heart disease and therefore some type of event. So it could be a stroke, a heart attack, aneurysms, things like that. And so literally by it may have started in the mouth and around the gums and surrounding the gums, but it's also in your bloodstream because the mouth is extremely vascular. Once inside the bloodstream, we've got, 200 like miles of arterial surfaces, right? So this is flowing all throughout our body, so it can affect us in all kinds of areas. But the cool thing is when you treat it properly, both around teeth, and now this may be slightly controversial, but also with the proper antibiotics at that same time. So I'm not saying that every single person needs antibiotics. I'm not saying that. I know the pros and the cons of the antibiotics, but let me tell you this. If you have that much bacteria inside your bloodstream that's that potent and that harmful, sometimes the benefit of going through a 7 or 10 day round of specific antibiotics for those particular bacteria is so helpful because it decreases the volume of them, where all of a sudden your own body is able to then come into play and use its own immune system to help and maintain you that way.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is, we can be in loving relationships and you may be taking great care of your mouth, but your partner may not be. And so in a loving relationship, we have to remember that these things are transmittable. People don't talk about that a lot. So for someone, let's say in our practice, who maybe isn't getting the results that we think they should be getting based on what we see, their medical history and things like that, that's when we have to start talking to them about their relationships and making sure that we don't need to get in there and treat their partner as well.
Interesting. No, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that before.
Yeah. And
so are we getting the partner in the practice then too?
And then we get the partner in the practice as well.
And then do you go, oh yeah, this is the problem?
Yep.
Oh,
because let's just say your partner's had a heart attack.
Yeah.
You haven't, you're pretty healthy. But if those bacteria or there's an infection, things like that in the mouth, and it's being transmissible, you are likely going to be starting to go down that road as well.
People, you need to get educated about this. I'm going to be the first. I'm proud to say right now that my husband is the best, way better than I will ever be when it comes to taking care of his mouth.
Yay!
He is all about, he's juicing. We're both very, very healthy. But he's definitely better with his oral care. I will give him those kudos right now.
Yes. Golden star.
He is a fabulous oral person.
I love it. I love it.
Well, Jill, maybe you'll come back again when this boardroom has been created so we can talk about that, because I do feel like I didn't have enough time with you. And I always feel like that when I feel a great energy with somebody who has just created their own business and made it really integrate with their life. That's a very important thing to do.
And life is too short not to do that.
I wish people could hear that. I was thinking this morning before we go, as I was walking in the park, and I thought, I wonder if people are thinking about how much they survived just through the pandemic, and if they're taking every single day and just understanding how blessed we are to just be here.
I totally agree with you. I thought the same thing on a fabulous walk in New York City on Sunday.
We probably walk right by each other. Well, Jill, thank you so much for being here. I love all that you're doing. All the information is going to be in the show notes. I encourage you to follow this incredible human being that I'm talking to right now. And let's not wait for the next disaster. Let's be prepared. Let's do this, ladies. And you guys can do it too, I guess, if you want to.
Absolutely. We'll bring them along for the ride.
We'll bring you right. Come on. Thanks, Jill.
Love it. Thank you.
Don't forget to mitigate risk. Visit 831b.com for more information. Remember to check out Doc to Doc, the personal lending platform designed for doctors by doctors.